Alright, Brazilian Jiu Jitsu and Wrestling versus Taekwondo and Boxing. This video is going to be a part 2 of my first video, Jiu Jitsu and Muay Thai versus Boxing and Wrestling. What is going on, guys? My name is Mark from Superhuman Fitness, and if you guys are new to this channel, my channel goes to help beginners get more into shape and learn the basics of self-defense, learn some martial arts. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, make sure you drop a like and subscribe. So like I said, this is going to be a part 2 of my first episode of this series. So if you haven't seen it, make sure you check it out. I'm going to leave a little card right there. I'm going to leave it linked in the description as well. So make sure you check that out after this. Don't leave this just yet. We're going to be looking at this from two perspectives, right? We're going to look at it from the self-defense perspective, and then we're going to look at it from the kind of professional fighting or trained fighter perspective, right? So when it comes to self-defense, especially just with like, depending on your area and like the laws and stuff, a lot of the times, if it's one-on-one at least, I would go towards the wrestling and jiu-jitsu just because it gives you more control of the opponent or whoever's trying to attack you in the first place without causing too much damage. So for example, let me give you guys a couple examples actually. So say you are in a fight and you have two options, right? One is to punch this guy in the face and knock him out cold. The other option is to take him down and put him to sleep, right? Putting somebody to sleep doesn't sound very nice until you realize that there's no real damage being done, right? Like what? Like they're cutting off the blood flow to the brain for a couple seconds. They'll go to sleep, wake them up, shake their legs a little bit when the cops come, you know what I'm saying? Get that blood flow back to the brain. Suddenly all is good, right? But when it comes to striking, if you punch somebody in the face and you get a clean knockout, that's CTE right there, right? That's brain damage. If you hit them the proper way, there's going to be some damage done, right? That's just one aspect, right? But now we're looking at the real picture, right? Now, it's not always about the law. The law is a real picture, but we're looking more in depth, right? So now we're looking at things like multiple opponents or concrete floors, right? So when it comes to this, a lot of times, sure, taking somebody down, if you're a wrestler, taking somebody down on concrete, most of the time it'll put them out, just landing on the concrete, right? That's why in judo, for example, you hit somebody with a nice sotogari, the match is over. And that's because if somebody hits the ground like that, the earth is hitting them, right? Like they're not going to be able to function too well just by slamming so hard. Now, when it comes to wrestling, you take somebody down, it could do similar damage, but say you take somebody down somewhat gently, right? You're not slamming them completely, but you take them down, they're still surviving, they're on concrete, it sucks, whatever. You get a dominant position past their guard. They don't even know they have a guard, right? You take their back, put them to sleep, call cops come, shake their legs, wake them up, whatever. Not too much harm done, right? The only real thing that happened is maybe you took them down and that gave them a little cut on their hand or whatever. But other than that, like, there's no real damage. But when it comes to striking, you hit somebody with a nice cross to the face and drop on the concrete, like there's gonna be some CTE, some brain damage, right? Now, also there's multiple opponents. So with jiu-jitsu and wrestling, you're focused in on one guy, right? You're completely, you can't wrestle multiple opponents. You can't submit multiple opponents at the same time. But with boxing, there's been multiple videos of boxers and some Taekwondo guys, not as much of Taekwondo guys, but you know, there's multiple opponents, pop, one guy gets knocked out, pop, the other guy gets knocked out, and just walk away, right? Now, that's cool, but also, like I said, the law is a whole other aspect. Now we're going to look at kind of a trained aspect, right? So now we're looking at two trained opponents. One's a wrestling and jiu-jitsu guy, the other is a Taekwondo and boxing guy. This is where it gets really interesting, right? Just on its own, boxing versus jiu-jitsu, I would say the jiu-jitsu guy is going to smash the boxing guy. As soon as he closes that distance, they should be able to close the distance just by taking a nice shot. And the boxer doesn't really have like much knowledge of knees or sprawls or anything, so it shouldn't be too hard. As soon as that distance gets closed, there isn't going to be really much that the boxer can do. But now we're looking at a boxer who also knows Taekwondo, right? This is why it's so interesting. Taekwondo on its own, I wouldn't say is the best when it comes to self-defense, just because Taekwondo specifically, it depends on the school, but there isn't much sparring with, you know, being punched in the face. A lot of times there's the gear and it's kicking to the body, punching to the body, not a lot to the face unless it's like a kick with the headgear, right? So you're not getting like full-on sparring experience, and you won't know what I mean if you only do Taekwondo until you do other arts. Now trust me, I know because I've done Taekwondo for like 3 years, right? So I have some experience. I'm not like a professional Taekwondo fighter or anything, but I do have a good amount of Taekwondo experience to tell you that I felt completely clueless as soon as I left that Taekwondo gym and went to a Muay Thai gym, for example, right? People are actually, you know what I'm saying? just try it and you'll see what I mean. The jiu-jitsu and wrestling guy needs to close the distance, but it's gonna be a lot harder when this guy not only knows how to throw strikes, but they know how to throw kicks, right? Just one good kick from this Taekwondo guy, like a nice spin heel kick, a guy is gonna go to sleep. But also, as a jiu-jitsu wrestling guy, all you really need is to be able to close that distance just once. And the guy doesn't know how to sprawl, he doesn't know how to defend himself. So if you can close that distance, say he throws a kick and you take a shot or something, you catch the kick, you sweep, as long as you can close that distance once, there shouldn't really be much that the striker can do, because as soon as you close that distance, like I said, it's a fish out of water, right? You get that dominant position, and now maybe the boxer like start throwing punches from bottom mount or something, right? So all you do is you take their back, put them to sleep, arm bar, whatever. It's a lot easier. As soon as that distance is closed, the boxing / Taekwondo guy is screwed, right? But if you cannot close the distance, if the boxing guy, Taekwondo guy can keep his distance and keep throwing strikes without letting the jiu-jitsu wrestler guy get close, then it's game over, right? You'll get that one good shot, right? One good kick should be enough to, if it's not a full-on knockout, it should be enough to daze the opponent enough to be able to keep combining strikes and stuff. This guy has no idea how to strike. He has to close the distance. So I can't give you a specific winner just because it varies so much and it depends on what happens in that situation. If the grappler can close the distance though, then it's game over. If the striker can keep his distance, then the striker is going to win, obviously, right? Well, not so obviously, but this is kind of a fun video. So if you guys enjoy this type of content, make sure you drop a like, subscribe for more videos just like this or martial arts videos in general, and comment what you'd like to see next. Thank you again for watching, and peace out.